Right, boys and girls, so we're going to be looking at division word problems today. And a lot of people find word problems really tricky, and sometimes they just want to go straight to solving the sum and then leave it at that. But we need to really focus on word problems, boys and girls, because see, in real life, no one's going to really just give you a division calculation and say, right, can you have a go at solving that? They're going to give you a word problem, or you're going to encounter a problem and you're going to think about, well, how can I use what I know to help me here? So we're going to work through a couple of examples together, and then you have got a wee paper task as well that I have set you, okay, a TJ worksheet. So this question says, and it's always a really good idea to read over at least once, okay? So there are 68 tennis balls in a tub. The tennis balls are organised into sets of 4 balls. How many sets will there be? So a good thing to do is to start to form a picture in your head of this question. Okay, really picturing what's going on here, and then read it again. So there are 68 tennis balls in a tub, right? So in my mind, I'm visualising a box full of tennis balls. And I want to organise them into sets of 4 balls, right? So I'm splitting this group of balls up. I'm going to be using division. I'm now going to go back through this question and circle some key numbers here that I'm going to be using in my division sum. So I can see first of all the number 68 is here, and I'm going to circle that number. So there are 68 tennis balls in a tub. The tennis balls are organised into sets of 4 balls. Right, so I have already got the 2 numbers that I'm going to be working with here. I'm going to be splitting 68 into groups of 4. Okay, so my question is going to be 68 divided by 4. Now, there are a few ways that you can work this problem out. Now, one of the easiest ways to do this might just be to go into formal division. So I'm going to rewrite this as a bus stop division. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can solve this. So how many 4s go into 6? 1 4 goes into 6. And there are 2 left over. Now I'm looking at how many 4s are there in 28. And remember, boys and girls, you can use your tables mat to help you. I'm going to use my fingers. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 7. Okay, so 4 goes on to 28 7 times. So I have solved the problem, but I have not yet answered the question. All I've done is drawn a sum. I need to answer the question that I have been asked. And I've been asked, so how many sets will there be? So I need to answer this now. So don't forget to look at what the question is actually asking you. I'm just going to underline that. And I'm going to answer it by saying, there will be 17 sets. Okay, so it's almost like answering a comprehension question in literacy. Right, so we're going to do another example now. Okay, so here's our second problem, and I'm going to read it once first. 18 cakes were shared equally among 3 friends. How many cakes did each person get? So right now I know that this is a problem, it's at a party, and I've got some cakes and I'm wanting to share them equally amongst friends. So I'm going to be dividing. And my question is going to be, well, let me circle my numbers first. I've got 18 and 3. So my question will be 18 divided by 3, because I'm splitting these 18 cakes into 3 equal groups. So how am I going to do this? Well, you can do this in a number of ways, but you could just use your tables knowledge. You could know that 3 times 6 equals 18. You might want to do an empty number line for this one. And you're going to start at 0 and you want to get up to 18. And you're going to go up in jumps of 3 and see how many jumps it takes you. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Right, now let's count how many jumps of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so my answer is 6. But wait, is that my Is my answer just 6? 6 what? 6 balloons? 6 cups of tea? Well, let's read the question again. It says, how many cakes did each person get? So I need to write in my answer and say, each person had 6 cakes. So boys and girls, see in a word problem question, it doesn't really matter what strategy you use. Whatever way you like to work it out is absolutely fine. Choose the strategy that's best for you. That's one of the things that we're learning to do. That's why we're learning all these different strategies, and apply it to this word problem setting. Let's do another question. Okay, here is our next word problem question. Let's read it once and then try to picture this scenario. So Sally has a piece of string that is 28 centimetres long. She cuts it into 4 equal pieces. What will the length of one piece be? So I'm going to go back. I can visualise in my head that this is a piece of string and it's going to be getting cut into equal pieces. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a division problem. Now I'm going to go and circle my key numbers. I've got 28 centimetres and 4 equal pieces. So my question is going to be 28 divided by 4. Okay, now it's up to you again, boys and girls, how you work this out. This time, I'm going to go for a group strategy. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And I'm going to be circling the groups of 4 because I'm dividing by 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went a little skew off here, but that's okay. 7. Okay, so my answer is 7. But the question was, what will the length of one piece be? So is it 7 carrots? Is it 7 tomatoes? No, it's going to be 7 centimetres. I had a piece of string, well, Sally had a piece of string that was 28 centimetres long, and now that we've cut it into equal pieces, one piece will be 7 centimetres long. So I'm going to answer the question. I'll use my blue pen so it stands out. The length of one piece is 7 centimetres. All right. Okay, so here we have another problem, and this is getting a little bit trickier now because we need to think of word problems with remainders. So we're going to do the same thing that we've always done, and we're going to read the question. So 17 bluebells were planted in 2 rows. Okay. One row had one more seed than the other. How many seeds were there in each row? Well, I know that there's 2 rows and I'm splitting these 17 seeds between the 2 rows. So I'm not going to be multiplying because I'm splitting them up. I'm going to be dividing. So let's circle the key numbers. We've got 17 and we have got 2 rows. Now I'm going to do a division for this. I'm going to do 17 divided by 2, and I'm going to do a bus stop division. 17 divided by 2, there are 0 2s and 1. I'm going to carry over the 1. I don't need that 0 there as a placeholder. And how many 2s are there in 17? Well, there's 8 with 1 left over. But how does that relate to my question? If I had 17 seeds and I split them between 2 rows, it would be 8 with 1 left over. So if I think about my question, I have got 2 rows of bluebells, and one of them is going to have 1 more bluebell in it than the other. So I've got 1 row and I've got 2 rows. So let's see, I've got 8 remainder 1, so I'm going to draw 8 in each row. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I had 1 left over. And wait a minute, I'm going to go back to my question. It says, one row has one more seed than the other. So they're both equal now, but one of them should have one more bluebell in it. So I'm going to add it on to one of the rows. So one row has got 8 and one row has got 9. And 9 add 8 is 17. Okay? So when I was going to write it out, and I won't do it just now because I've ran out of space, I would say one row had 8 seeds and the other had 9 seeds. Okay, so it's getting a wee bit trickier now, boys and girls. We're going to go over one more example together. Okay, here we go. We have our last problem now, and it's another problem with remainders. So we're going to read the problem first. Toy trains are sold at the toy store. They must be bought in pairs, which means in twos. There are 35 trains to be sold. How many customers would buy a pair of trains and how many would be left unsold? So let's circle the key numbers. We've got 35 trains and we know that, well actually this is quite a hard one because it doesn't have another number, but we know they must be bought in pairs, which means groups of 2. So our question is 35 divided by 2. Now, as always, there are a few ways that you can work this out. You can do a formal division. You could draw out this problem. I think I'm going to go for a formal division, but it's up to you how you would like to solve this problem. So, I've got 35 divided by 2. How many 2's go into 3? 1 with 1 left over. How many 2's go into 15? 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, which is 2 times, oh, what have I done there? I've still started at 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There we go. My brain is now switched on, boys and girls. So it's 7 2's go into 14, 15, sorry, but then there'd be 1 left over. So it'd be 17 remainder 1. But that doesn't really answer the question because it's asking, well, how many customers would buy a pair of trains and how many are left over? So 17 customers would buy a pair of trains and that would bring it up to 34. So if 17 people bought 2 trains each, that would be 34 trains sold, but there would be 1 per train left over. So if I was to write out the answer to this sum, I would say that 17 customers would buy a pair of trains and 1 train would be left over. Boys and girls, I hope that that is helpful. For these questions, just make sure that you're really reading the question and you understand what it's asking you. Take a wee minute to reread it if you need to and try and visualise really the picture in your head. Just visualise a toy shop with the trains, imagine them in the pairs and think about how you're going to go about solving that problem. Okay, boys and girls, good luck with your task. Bye for now.